All right, everybody, we are going to give this a try tonight. We do have a lot of storms overhead. In fact, all of the southern part from Georgia to Louisiana to Alabama, even top Florida. We've got wild storms here tonight. I'm going to watch the bit rates and see if I can get away with it. I don't know. I might have to cut the video part of this so that we can keep, playing just with the audio. So if you're coming in and you don't hear me, but you don't see me, but you hear me, just know that we are all in this together and we are watching what's happening. So Sotomayor, she has said that we are losing our democracy. Okay, and let's talk about that for a minute because they're warning that we are going to see a complete change in the United States government. Now, Sotomayor says that you can't depend upon what people are telling you, urging people to research original sources and not rely on any one news source. Now, that absolutely is true. You shouldn't be relying on any one source, not even this one. Do your own research. But here's what's actually happening. I went to do our grocery shopping today, and we try to grocery shop maybe once a month. Sometimes we hit twice a month. The stores that we went to were completely empty. And now let me see if I can pull up on my images here so that you guys can see what we saw. Nobody in these stores. There's Sam's Club. Tons of meat is going to go bad. Here's large eggs in the back of Sam's for $61. 100% to 150% more than they were just a couple of months ago. Here's an overhead view of Sam's Club. There's nobody there. Here is Home Depot. There's nobody inside of Home Depot. Now, how about Walmart? Okay. There's nobody inside of Walmart. Guys, I'm shopping at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. Why isn't there anybody at the store? Now, I did look around, and there's definitely a missing demographic. Okay, we can acknowledge there's a missing demographic there. And that demographic, I do think I have to pop my video here because I'm frozen. So that demographic that's missing is part of what we're seeing with immigration problems. Now, if we keep seeing this, if we keep seeing these immigration raids, all of our stores are going to be emptied out. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, so don't come at me telling me, Brad, we've got to do this. No, you're right. We have to handle it this way. But I think that we're going to see a real big problem in our economy because nobody's spending their SNAP money. Nobody's spending their food money. WIC, not spending it because they're not going to the store. So, guys, we have a problem brewing. Now, let's listen again to what Sotomayor has to say. News literacy is the obligation, she says, of all of us to become more knowledgeable, to get accurate information. Why does it matter? They say misinformation is all across the world. Member of the Supreme Court's minority speaking with the Knight Foundation president and the CEO, Perez, they're saying that we are going to lose our ability to act as a country. Now, she's 73 years old. We definitely need to see some change in all higher government. The internet, they say, creates an extraordinary challenge to the press and to the world. They say because it's largely unregulated. Now, let me tell you, do you know what we need? We don't need more internet regulation. We need more freedom in media. And I'll remind you that we just watched a video in the last couple of days, maybe a couple of days ago. And in that video, we had the World Health Organization. And what did they do? They said that they were going to start to control all of advertising. And in the control of advertising, they were going to censor or control what was said in media. And in doing that, they are shifting everything up. So the stores, like I said in the headline here, the stores are empty. And I've got some pictures that we just showed. We do have a Zelensky and hegesth issue. What's going on with that? Well, hegesth's pretty much telling, and Trump's telling Zelensky, this is the way it is. You're going to be giving up country. You're going to give up your land here. All right, let's move forward past Sotomayor. Let's move on to egg prices. Soaring 15% in a 30-day period. Let me cut my video off here because I don't think I'll last for long if I keep the video up. So egg prices soaring 15%. The surge is being seen all across the country. Bird flu killing millions of egg-laying chickens. Prices are surging in just a 30-day period, their largest advance since the year 2025. Hey, Red Hot, glad to see you here. We have some bad storms here again in the south, so we're going on and off with our video so that I can keep showing you what's happening in the news. Bad news for Americans, they say. The situation is so dire that at Whole Foods in Chicago, the egg shelves are entirely empty and there's purchase limit signs that show redundancy of what's happening. NerdWallet says this doesn't only impact at-home bakers or breakfast makers. It impacts restaurants, and who they're not saying it impacts, I'm going to let you know. It also impacts the people that we buy our boxed goods from. So if you buy anything at the store that has some sort of egg ingredient in it, they're going to charge you 1, 5, 15% more right out the bat, all because they had to pay more for eggs. So get ready for those prices to increase all the way across the entire spectrum there. It continues. 100 million egg-laying hens have been lost, but they've actually been killed. We have stringent control measures in place that if they see even one positive pop, they go in and kill the whole flock. And so the farmers are trying to separate them into biologically or biohazard diverse groups. Now, there's just not enough chicken houses. I don't know if you've ever been around a chicken house. That is some of the most pungent, repugnant smells that you will never get used to. And a chicken house is literally all of the chickens laid as close as they can together, packed as close as they can. Some of them never stepping out of their cage. All they do is put out eggs every day. Is it hygiene efficient? No. Is it great for the chickens? Absolutely not. No one's arguing that. Is it a product of what we have done by taking away the cycle of making sure that the economy is good for farmers? Now we're getting closer. And so now they're saying with these bird flus, what are you saying is wrong, Andrew Ben? Now they're saying with these bird flus that we're going to see huge reductions in our flocks. And with these reductions, you're going to see a lot of other problems in price fluctuation. All right, let's move on. Ukraine, they're prepared to offer territory to Russia in return for a peace deal. Ukraine, they say, will offer a swap of territory in any potential peace negotiations. In these negotiations, Zelensky said, now this article was published for the world to see, they're going to meet with Vance in 2 days, J.D. Vance, in Munich at a security conference. Now, Washington's going to push for an end to the war. Now, that's because we see everybody looking at Zelensky, looking at Trump, and saying, hey, you said 24 hours out the bat you were going to get a deal done. Trump knows that that wasn't possible from the beginning, but they're trying now so that within the first 60-day period, 30, 45-day period, they can get something done. Zelensky said he's going to meet with J.D. Vance, and in the meeting, this is according to the report, there are voices which say that Europe will offer security guarantees without the Americans. And I always say no, he says. Security guarantees without Americans are not real security guarantees. Now, he told the Guardian that he would offer the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, territory in return for a strong peace deal. We will swap one territory for another, he says. No, it's not your internet. We have really bad storms here, and we're trying really hard to keep it, in line. If you keep seeing it, I'm just going to drop my video completely, and in the dropping of that, maybe we'll stay online a little bit longer. So Zelensky says we'll swap one territory for another. Now, he has added that they don't know which territories are going to be discussed in this deal. I don't know which, he says, but all of our territories are equally important. Now, Crimea, which Russia came in 2014, and then you had all the other regions, Russia doesn't have full control over them, but they are militarily controlled. Zelensky says he would offer U.S. companies lucrative contracts. Now you're starting to see right out here in the open. This is right here for you to see. Lucrative contracts in return for security guarantees. Now, what does that mean? That means that your money, yours and mine, went over to Ukraine through these never-ending packages that Biden was setting up and all of government was setting up and sending there. Ukraine took them, gave a lot back to the Americans, sold a lot of the weapons on the side, and with the remaining, they put them into American-made companies, or they're guaranteeing that they'll do that. And now Trump knows this, and Trump has said, hey, you're going to give us resources in return for this, or it's no deal. That's a smart move as a president, because that means that we, the people, might finally get a trickle of some of our money going out. Something might be cheaper here, whether it's our lithium batteries, the grains that need to be imported. We're running into a time here in our world that if we do not start to control from A to Z, if we don't have full circle control of sustainability as America, there's going to be no more America. We will be a third world country. And no one wants to hear it. No one wants to believe it. But we will be a third world country if we don't see something happen in our strength very soon. All right, Zelensky says that those who are helping us to save Ukraine will renovate it with their businesses together with Ukrainian business. All of these things that we are ready to speak about in detail. Now, my question is, how long has this been going on? Let's ask Google. When did the Russia-Ukraine war start? Thank you so much, Jeremy, for becoming a member here on this channel. Thank you for considering what we do as a family. And thank you for asking, as part of the members, that we keep this live free for everybody. So February 20th, we're talking the very first incursion. When did the most recent one start? I think it was 22. February 24th, 2022. And isn't it interesting that now in February, they're talking about a peace deal? So how is it that we allowed this to happen in February 2014? Then we had a little soft CUOP event take place in Ukraine. Made them give up all of their nuclear weapons for a on paper guarantee that Russia would never invade. And then Russia started invading, and now Ukraine is taking our money, the U.S. government, the U.S. citizens' money, and they're doing willy-nilly with it. Let's see, we've got some people calling in. Denver, Colorado checking in. $5 a dozen in Vermont. Canada free range. Denver, Colorado again. Alabama. Hey, Mama Sean, Alabama. We've got good evening from Greg. New York eggs, $7 a dozen. Lisa House job did the same thing. Lower Michigan. Hey, Lower Michigan. Farmers selling our land to solar farms. Yeah, it's bad news, guys. If we don't see a real change here, I'm afraid for us. And I'm really afraid because I was talking with my brother tonight, and he's working hard to get his family up near me. And that's what I mean. You've got to build a support structure of your own. You know, me and Kelly, my wife and I, we moved us away and our kids because I couldn't afford the land where we were living. And I said, we've got to go somewhere I can at least afford land. In Alabama, they still adhere to a 65 years and older. You don't pay any property taxes. So you're not going to lose your land or your house just because you're too old to work. That works for me. So I said, okay, Alabama. Now, there's some real homesteading positive things. There's some real homeschooling positives in this state. The only thing that I don't like is the way they handle the protection of your homestead if you get sued. There's a lot of fishy territory there. So you got to think about that in the long run. For me, it was the best thing that I could do at the time with my family. One of the last free southern areas that I could go to. You can still open carry. You can do almost anything you want on your property as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else. So there's that idea that I went after. And my brother's like, I got to move too. And so he's trying to get up here right now. And we are building that support structure between ourselves, because if you don't have it, what are you going to have? When you can't work because you lose your job to AI, or somebody else will come and do your job cheaper and your employer fires you or doesn't renew your contract, what are you going to do? Well, for me, I want support in my people that I will support. So back and forth. And that's what we're kind of working to build here. Love my state of Alabama. Hey, Bama J, glad to see you in here. Good evening, Brad from Rip Curl, Mama Sean, chalked out by Texas. Hey, everybody, Unspoken Thoughts. Okay, so we've got maybe a peace deal here in the future between Russia and Ukraine, with Ukraine willing to give up everything. This is a scary study. They say that when AI, because we're all beginning to trust it, and let's face it, okay? What did I just do? What did we just do together as a team? We asked AI something. We asked it when the Russian and Ukrainian war started. Now, right now, AI points you to fact-backed papers, studies, whatever you ask it for. That doesn't mean we're going to get that guarantee in the future. And so now this study right here, it says that people, when trusting AI, when AI says that that person is dangerous or that person should be killed on a battlefield situation level, they follow those orders. So according to the study, humans have a blind spot when it comes to trusting current AI. Research from Penn State and other universities, they show that people are highly susceptible to the influence in life or death situations. A series of the experiments, they simulated drone warfare scenarios. And so we have soldiers right now relying on the drones. And they rely on what they're being told. Mick, come on, what are you even talking about here? Googling facts. Yeah, you're right. We should really start to consider, writing down all of the dates, like when the Russian war started. So you have people, humans, in the battlefield relying on AI to tell them, yes, that's a target. No, that's not a target. Yes, that's a calamity. Or yes, you might have a casualty, a civilian casualty there. And they push the button to start unloading on those people. So, is this true? It might just be. It says that potentially dangerous consequences are on the way. The study, which was published in Scientific Reports, I'll go ahead and click to that. It says overtrust. AI recommendations about whether or not to kill. Evidence from human-based interaction studies. According to the study, the research explores prospective determinations of trust and the recommendations of artificial agents regarding the decisions to kill, use a novel visual challenge paradigm to simulate threats, and what people will do. So basically, how are people going to react to it? So at least we get a study cited there. The findings paint a concerning picture, particularly in situations of uncertainty. In the experiments, 558 participants, they found consistent patterns in overtrust. According to the study, as a society with AI accelerating quickly, we need to be concerned. Now, let me know what you guys think about the level of concern that we need there. I'm going to go ahead and shut my video off because I'll try to play a little bit of it. But I want to catch some video here. Do you know we just had another plane crash? This was a military EA-18G Growler. It was a Boeing plane. Just crashed into the San Diego harbor tonight. Watch this.
Oh shit, it didn't sound.
Let me turn the sound off because we've got a guy cursing there. 18 Eglins Best 598. So we've got another plane going down another day. Officials say the pilots were able to eject before it impacted, and according to U.S. Coast Guard, they landed in the water. They were only in the water for about 1 minute before they were picked up and transported to the hospital. Why do we have these planes going down every single day? Let's listen to this.
How much money do you calculate is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs each year?
Yeah. My number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those three things.
How much money do you calculate
Now,
is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the
waste, fraud, and abuse every year?
Entitlement program.
How much money is calculated as being spent on waste, on fraud, and abuse
each year?
Yeah. My number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those three things.
How much?
So they're saying if we let Elon Musk and if we let DOGE really have their way in government, we'll save at least $1 trillion a year just in
Money do you calculate is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs?
In waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs. Now let's ask Grok, okay? What are considered to be the government entitlement programs in the USA? Okay, so we know about some of the entitlement programs. You know, you've got Social Security, you know, you've got Medicare, you know, you've got Medicaid, you've got supplemental nutrition assistance, you've got children's health insurance programs, you've got supplemental security income. This provides cash assistance to aged, blind, or disabled persons. You have earned income tax credits, and you have unemployment insurance. So in just these, they'll save $1 trillion just by letting DOGE go in there and the government efficiency monitoring go in there. Okay, this was a scandal in Penfield Central School District, New York. A kindergartner reportedly came home with a book for their kids. Kindergartner. So what age do you go into kindergarten? What age do you go into kindergarten? I think it's like 5 years old. Yeah, 5 or on or before September 1st. So 5 years old, okay? A 5-year-old brought home a book from school for their parents showing naked people in the streets and people wearing S&M outfits in the lower right-hand corner there. A 5-year-old. And you're telling me that they're not trying to indoctrinate and manipulate and abuse children? Come on, let's wake up a little bit here. So they say parents showed up to demand an explanation and the board walked out. Now I'm surprised that this stream is still up. I'm really surprised that we're even allowed to talk about that kind of thing without them coming down hard on us. Parents showed up to demand an explanation. They say this is what happens when someone else is in charge of your child's day-to-day life. Stop giving your children to predators. They don't even have to go after kids. Parents hand them over to them. You know, you've got to watch out for certain jobs, right? Who wants to be in a job like this? And now, is it just the nurturing person? Is it the person that has all of their trauma healed and they're trying to, you know, help people? Is there people who are trying to make the world better? Is it somebody in these positions who want the ability to help others? Or is it a predator? And that's what you got to watch out for. Somebody said they were wondering about Nate. Yeah, let me know. Like Catherine said, how did Nate lose his mind? You know, I talked to Nate offline here, and we talk about the events of the world. Nothing really personal. We talk about stuff. So I'd like to know what you guys are saying. Pentagon burns taxpayer cash. $1,000 for a cup of coffee. 8,000% markup on things like soap dispensers. Trump says we're going to find billions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud and abuse. Yeah, I don't think Nate's lost his mind. He's been smoking too much ganja. No, I just think that he's, you know, we all have perceptions, right? We all perceive the way things are going to happen. For me, I think we're kind of screwed. I hope we get better in the long run.
Give us some information.
This is Florida's Voice. Reporter presses Caroline Levitt for proof of the so-called ridiculous contracts that DOGE is terminating. And then I guess she follows through.
On that, we're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to
It's this
share
one right here in the pink.
evidence of those fraud claims, or can Elon Musk come to the briefing room and share material evidence of what he's talking about?
Sure, I would love for Elon Musk to come to the briefing room. That's why we had him go to the Oval Office yesterday, where I think he provided great answers. He was speaking in layman's terms, speaking common sense to all of you in the media, but also to Americans at home. But I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to DOGE. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what DOGE is doing. There is an X account with the DOGE handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door. The secretaries of our departments have stopped from going out the door. And I would also say that before it was Elon Musk
I'm still here. We're just trying to
it was
weather
some
the storm.
Unnamed bureaucrat that none of you knew. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He's also now one of the most highly scrutinized men in the world alongside President Trump because of what he's doing and the access that he is allowing. So there's great transparency. As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts.
Now, I love this. Okay, so first of all, she's back repping her cross, you know, on her necklace, which a lot of people were like, where'd that go? She's getting co-opted. So she's repping that again, and somebody calls her and says, where is the proof of what's happening? isn't it nice when they think that they've got one up on you and you actually turn around and show them exactly how it is? And that's what's going on here. They thought that they had one up on her. They were like, oh, show me the proof. And then they would write a scathing article, right? Their headline would be, White House representative can't show proof of DOGE, fraud. And so that would be their headline because they asked and she couldn't show proof. But ready for that, they were.
We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that DOGE found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI.
Okay, let me hear that again. What was that?
In his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
That's, when we're patenting things, like, let's see, what could we patent here in front of me? Okay, I've got an SD card reader, right? You have a camera and you take a picture and you put it in here and you plug it into your computer. So when I'm patenting this, because I'm like, oh, I came up with a good idea, and the guy's thinking about stamping it, I'm not like, hey, hold on a second. Are you sure you have the right ethnic background and ability because of the way you were raised to do that? Can you really stamp that approve? And so that's where your millions and millions and billions of dollars have gone. And that's the country that we were. Now, maybe we're becoming a new country, but there is going to be a little bit of hurt between now and then. I don't want anyone to think that this doesn't come without a price. Yours and mine, we're going to pay more soon. Our inflation's going to go up. We're going to have a little bit of civil discourse. I'm already starting to see attacks from people who are getting kicked out of the country. So we are going to have a little bit of hurt here.
Department of
where are their stores empty? All across the South. And in fact, I didn't believe so much what I had read, what I had seen online. Okay. But here we are in my store, 6:30 p.m. Walmart, empty. You say, okay, maybe Walmart's just empty. Okay. Well, here's Home Depot, about 6:45 p.m. empty. All right. How about Sam's Club? Empty. Guys, this was tonight. Maybe 2 hours ago? These stores are empty. Now, I don't live in an area where we have a huge population of people who would be concerned with the ICE raids. Is it happening nearby? Yes, in the bigger cities. I'm in a very rural area. Is it happening? Yes, somewhat. But what's really going on? Is it that everybody who's got a warrant and everybody who's, who may be attached to an illegal, they're all afraid to go out? I don't know. I'm not concerned with going out. Is that entitlement, or is that, because of who I am? No, I'm not concerned. Now, if they were like, hey, we're coming after, bald white guys, I'd be like, okay, all right, I'm doing my online order. So maybe that's what's happening. But I don't even think that's what's going on, because the stores have so much food inside there. And I can't believe it. All that food's going to go to waste. And let me show you again. All this food that's going to go to waste, okay? This is their meat section. So if people aren't in there spending their SNAP, and if people aren't in there spending their WIC on the milk, what's going to happen? All that meat's going to go bad. So I don't really know what the long term is here. But something is definitely up. Matthew, thank you so much. These days are the worst situation. Is mad better with soft words. War, talking about war and how bad everything is. Liars, we're not going to get better out there. Hopefully, in the long run, we find a new normal. Full stores in Southern Oregon. You got stores full of food or stores full of people? I'd like to know that.
Commerce, another DEI contract that DOGE identified.
You guys all loving on this lady. What's her name? Levitt? Caroline Levitt? Everybody loving on her. She went a little too heavy on the lip plumper for my liking, but
I love this one.
I still am glad that she is a smart, quick-witted individual up there.
$57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people? Absolutely nothing. These are the line items across the federal government that DOGE is identifying daily. They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what DOGE is doing. And here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed. Did anybody
Agent
know
James.
this was even happening in our country before Elon Musk talked about it in the Oval Office yesterday? A lot of Americans didn't. So we are
Yes, we did talk about this years ago on a video, Iron
items
Mountain.
across the federal government that DOGE is identifying daily.
Listen again.
They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what DOGE is doing. And here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed. Did any...
So they tried to digitize this, and they tried to, well, they say they tried, but I don't think they really tried, because you can digitize anything, right? You know, in today's world, I could still go take 35 millimeter film and digitize it. You know, I can scan whatever documents I need to. Guys, I wouldn't care if we ran it through AI. I wouldn't care if we hired people to type all of the names into a database so that we could get rid of this fraud. The problem is they're going to catch a lot of fraud. They're going to catch a lot of corruption. Hey, New York, Belladonna Took. All right, let's see what else we've got. U.S. Navy, we just watched the video of that Navy, the Growler going down, crashing today, a Boeing crash today.
You force
I've got to flip this around for us.
our hand, we will inflict the biggest trade blow that the United States has ever endured.
What do you think that's all about?
What does that trade blow look like if you're the next prime minister?
Dollar for dollar retaliation. And
Okay, so who is this? This is Chrystia Freeland, threatening Trump with the largest trade attack that the United States of America has ever endured. Now let's do a little bit of look, okay? Everybody watching might not know who she is, what she represents, and what government she represents. Member of the House of Commons in Canada. She's 56 years old. Freelance PCMP, Canadian politician, journalist, serving as a member of the Parliament. It says that she promises to have cheaper groceries for the Canadians and more expensive everything for the Americans. Let's listen
a
again.
tariff imposed on Canada, Canada will respond to, and our response is going to be smart and targeted. The tariffs the U.S. is threatening Canada with are across the board, and they're going to hurt you. Take aluminum. Aluminum is basic.
What is the lady on the left? Maybe she got a migraine today.
Electricity
They're right on
in
your side.
solid form. And in imposing a 25% tariff on Canadian aluminum, you're hurting yourselves. You're putting a 25% tax on electricity, and you actually need more electricity today in this AI race with China.
Yep.
Our retaliation is going to be a lot more surgical than that. We are going to go after American stakeholders who matter to the White House.
Now, are you guys hearing about this on any mainstream media? Are you reading this where there's elements inside of the Canadian government who are all saying that they're going to impose basically hell on the American people if we don't rise up against the American politician and political network? That's really what they're saying, that if you, the people, don't rise up against Donald Trump, rise up and pull Elon Musk out into the streets, if you don't do that, you, the people, are going to be hurting. Those are the threats that they're giving.
I have proposed a 100% tariff on all Teslas. I am calling on all the countries that are affected by this tariff to join us.
Nice
And
hats.
our retaliation will target specific Trump constituencies. Another group that we're going to go after is Wisconsin dairy farmers. We know how important they are for the president, and we're not going to let them sell their products in Canada anymore.
Now listen to that. So she's calling it out right there, that if you don't rise up against the Trump government, you're going to end up, you're hurting yourself and your family.
A bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order. As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order.
Thank you so much, Miss Lisa D. Appreciate you being here, and thank you for the super chat for our community here.
1
We
trillion.
covered that right at the beginning. That was them saying we're going
This
to
is EPA.
get rid of a lot of waste in government. This is an Elon Musk post right here.
Administrator Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions
Thanks,
of
Shaw.
your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation, during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at my confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars.
I don't know about defund
Shockingly-
the CPS, but reform it and make it accountable and don't let anything bad happen inside of it. Now we're talking.
Roughly 20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA. This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then
Oh
responsible.
no, Sherry, I know that there's bad elements to it, but we need some sort of thing inside, something like it. Whether you wipe it and do something new and better for the people and families, okay. But we do need something because there's a lot of bad that happens out there too. Bradley Kunberger shouts out from an unnamed U.S. military base in the Middle East. Huge fan of your shows. Keep up the great OSINT, open source intelligence. Thank you, Bradley, for being here with us, and thanks for the super chat, and thanks for working for us and working, to keep you and yours safe over there in the Middle East. Keep it up.
For doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA.
Hold on. This I'll never agree with. I don't care who you are.
Clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank.
Sure, bro.
Here's my position as EPA administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to reassume responsibility.
You can't hear him? I'm sure he's low, but I see on the audio that you should be able to at least hear him talking.
For all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door. I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office and will work with the Justice Department as well.
Okay.
The days of irresponsibly shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over.
Or far right, or middle, or anywhere. Anywhere there's fraud, it needs to go away. That's what I think Trump is trying to kind of pick up this message. Elon Musk is trying to pick up this message. Hey, Derek, good to see you. We're seeing some of the politicians who have it right on what we need as a country. They're trying to repeat this message that it doesn't matter if you were a corrupt Republican, a corrupt Democrat, a corrupt Libertarian, a corrupt nobody. Whatever you did with the taxpayers' money, this slate is done. This is a whole new headstone. This is the way America needs to operate. So this guy saying going after only one political side, he obviously doesn't get it.
Shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity
I'm
are
good,
over.
Derek. Appreciate it. It's pretty stormy here tonight. I have to come in and out of the video because it's so rainy here. I can't get any good reception.
The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government than what transpired these past 4 years. We take our obligations under the law as seriously as it gets. I've directed my team to find your gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of government as we pursue next steps. As President Trump has vowed, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so that's the U.S. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Now, is that going to make it all better?
Here's the
No, but hopefully we're in the right direction.
DOGE report for today. So where is our money actually being spent? Well, they found that $3 million is being used to study.
Okay, she's too low. I can't hear her. This is the video of the U.S. fighter jet crashing into the San Diego Bay earlier today. So this happened today. Another fighter jet, another plane crashing. They ejected. Everybody was okay. Spent about 2 minutes in the water, less than 2 minutes, and they were picked up.
To protect me because...
Let's just skip past that. This is AI, it looks like.
Considering exemption, talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah, tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud, and it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about, like, are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3.
All right, so Trump says he went through a list of 200 different expenditures. So, yes, there were checks and balances back then, but there were only checks. There were no balances. The balances were the pocketbooks of the politicians that just kept getting bigger and bigger. And somebody would have to sign off on it. But let me tell you something. If you've ever worked with a friend growing up as a kid who you didn't know any better, if you've ever worked with a friend, what was that friend really good at doing? Probably they were really good at letting you slack off or covering up whatever you didn't do. Or you want to come in late, no worries. And you got preferential treatment. That's how our whole government has operated for the last 50, 60, 70 years. Preferential treatment to their buddies. And every 4 years, give or take, they would switch sides. And it's like, okay, your buddies get 4 years of preferential treatment. Go ahead, load up your bank accounts, guys. Let it go. And then no worries, the Republicans would be like, oh, it's all right, we got the next go. And they would wait around 4 years, and they would get their preferential treatment. And it was corruption and fraud and waste, every single part of it. And so that's what Trump is saying they've caught. And that's what needs to change. And thank you so much, Isaac. Thanks for the super chat. I wouldn't be surprised if here in the next couple of days, maybe in the next week or two, you start to see the Democrat side and their news media outlets all say the same thing. They're going to say this tranche of money went to this right-based, Republican-based organization during a Republican presidency. And that's what they're going to start pointing fingers at. It's not going to last very long because then the Republicans will just say, but look, this tranche of money went to the Democrats. And everybody, us in the middle, we're going to start to say, you know what? This seems like you and I are getting screwed. I didn't get any money of that. You didn't get any money from that. So what's really going on here?
And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done he doesn't need this. He's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does. and it's
I
his
did.
group of
I
people.
sure did.
You know, they started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12, and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them. This is a massive fraud that's taken place.
All right, so that's Trump talking about all the fraud.
But because there's a Texas law.
This says it's no longer a conspiracy. Tucker Carlson interviewing Ken Paxton. Ken is suing General Motors because the auto manufacturers are tracking every single thing you do. The lawsuits include Meta, Facebook, Zuckerberg taking in and keeping your bio data, Google, the incognito mode is not incognito, Google controlling 97% of the ad market.
Privacy. Where are we on that? We sued Facebook because there's a Texas law that says you cannot steal somebody's
I
face.
gotta get rid of this
somebody's
because of the music they play in the background. All right, let's see. But that's what he's doing. What else we got going on here? Elon Musk. This guy looks like a AI version of Bill Gates mixed with Sesame Street.
Hey everybody, it's Doug again. I can't believe it. I've been here about a week. And you know the one thing that hadn't changed about DC? It's the media up here that like to tell you stuff that they want you to believe. I'm going to give you a breakdown. This is how it happens in the media up here. They take a possibility and then they run with a story because they want you to believe it because they got to write something, and frankly they don't know what to write because right now President Trump is making progress and this administration is doing what it said, making promises and keeping them. But let me tell you one that's right now. There's a one that's going around in the media right now about veterans benefits being cut. I'm the Secretary of VA. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not happening. They can do hypotheticals all they want. I'm telling you about reality. Reality is veterans benefits aren't getting cut. In fact, we're actually giving and improving services in our Veteran Benefits Administration. They're actually clearing cases quicker. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. There's also this rumor out there that DOGE is out there, is this infamous thing that's going to take personal information and do that. I'm telling you what, we've got DOGE representatives here that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is looking at our contracts, making sure that we have the best run facility for efficiency to make sure who? The veteran gets the care they need. I'm happy to.
Crystal says anybody who's ever played a Fallout game understands that the annexation of Canada and Mexico is a very, very bad idea.
To partner with them to find things that we need to get rid of so that we can put the money where it belongs. You know where that is, back with our veteran. President.
Well, there's the VA. VA saying no benefits are going to be cut. In fact, it's going to be streamlined and the veterans will get their benefits quicker and easier. That better be true. This guy overacts a little bit on his enthusiasm here, but it better be freaking true.
Hey everybody, it's Doug again.
Waste is different from fraud. Fraud is different.
I don't know what that is.
Hire a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk to go out and do it for us?
My name is Magat Wade. I'm a Senegalese American entrepreneur. I've been living in the U.S. since 1998, and I became a U.S. citizen in 2018.
Hey,
I'm also an author of The Heart of a Cheetah, a book that talks about African entrepreneurship and prosperity. Mr. Raskin, your words earlier really, really worried me, and I will tell you why. When you say we are here, and we should be here to talk about Mr. Elon Musk and all the unconstitutional things.
To hire
I don't know if that was it. That probably didn't have anything that was worth us watching. This is the federal employees riding tricycles around the limestone caves that fetch the government employee retirement documents. This is our country. This is our government. This is the biggest misuse. Now, if they were hiding like bioweapons down there, no, this is Susie Q down here, supposed to ride on the white line only in the limestone, fetching records out of paper with huge sprinkler systems so that they don't, go up in flames. Elon Musk says it all becomes clear that DOGE is working. You will see the long-term Treasury bill yields fall. And all Americans will benefit. Lower interest payments on mortgages, small business debts, credit cards, and other loans.
Tishy James and Alvin Bragg. That's what this story is all about. Nothing else there. He went after Illinois because he wants to get Pritzker. Hates him. And the way to do that is to deny the states of Illinois and New York the federal grant money. The New York Post reports today $8 billion is going to get held up by the Justice Department that
they're all just wanting money, guys, no matter which way you look at it.
You want waste and just get rid of it. You can't do that. Like in the Department of Defense, we do like lots and lots of online training.
I doubt he's actually a service member. What do you think? Wouldn't show.
Every year that's totally not a waste of time and teaches us a great skill.
I think that's a joke.
Room in an assisted living facility in New York. That's her. The only way I could interview her was to have a camera on the street.
Yeah, guardianship, right? Okay, so this was a Pentagon video. I can't play the audio, of course. Derek, thank you so much. Thanks for the live and all your family does for the community. Thanks, Derek. This is the Pentagon dropping this video, trying to, again, show force, show strength. This is a message for anybody who doesn't, it's a message for our allies, just as much as it's a message for our enemies. Now, Russia doesn't want to screw with the USA. China's going to take us on. So it's a message for China, but obviously this number of planes ain't doing squat against China. The only thing China will listen to is diplomacy through strength and positioning. And it really becomes a chess game with China. But still interesting.
He looks good.
He's active duty? Okay, I'd like to know who he is. Obviously a homecoming there. Okay, this is Mullen saying, I'm not an alarmist, but how do you not get alarmed by things like this? Hospitals are filling up. People are being hospitalized. They're dying from what's being called extraordinary flu. Schools are closing. This is becoming common. Now, I'll give him that. There are people getting really sick this year. So if you or your family get a little sick, don't let it take you. Like, eat good, drink good, take care of yourself, get the medicine you need, take care of it.
Americans are shocked to learn that $2.7 trillion of their hard-earned tax dollars have been stolen or wasted in improper payments since 2003. You see, in the private sector, companies can't continue to run if they keep employees that allow waste and abuse with their resources. But that has continued for decades here in the federal government. Mr. Talcove, do private sector companies have a lower rate of improper payments than the federal government?
Yes, the fraud rate that the criminals are taking advantage of in the public sector is around 20%. In the private sector, it's around 3%.
Public sector, 20% fraud that's being taken advantage of through government, through the things that our government has allowed.
Figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is. I don't know why you would go to some tech.
Well, I don't think I'm on still. If I'm still on, my power just went out. Let's see. My lighting changed. The power went out. You guys tell me. Thunder hitting. Thunder's still going. If that thunder didn't stop going, I was going to go get the kids and get to a safe place. Guys, I think that is my call to wrap up. I want to thank you for being here tonight. I want to get out before this storm knocks the power out. Thank you guys for watching with us. We're going to check back more. If the storm quits later, maybe I'll do a little bit live later. But it's been going on pretty much all day. But thank you guys for being here. From my family to yours, please stay safe and keep watch.